evening, everyone. Happy Thursday. Happy post-Christmas. Hopefully everybody is doing well. Hopefully you all enjoyed the holidays. Hopefully you all got to spend time with your families and got to relax. Hopefully it's been a short week for most of you. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Make sure you all hit that like button, hit that subscribe. Share this channel out with everyone you know. I would greatly appreciate it. Let's continue growing this channel. Can you believe it, folks? We are towards the end of 2024. Next week will be 2025. Where does the time go? But that's okay. You know, it's going to be a new year, which means it's going to be closer to pitchers and catchers reporting in less than 2 months. 91 days till opening day. Folks, we're slowly but surely approaching baseball season. I don't know about you all. I'm looking forward to it. And I hope you all are as well. So shout out to everybody in the chat. Let's say what's up to the folks in the chat. Who do we have in the chat? We got Demon D in the chat. We got Graham in the chat. Sean Browning. Ken from Myrtle Beach. We have Dev Finch. We got Joe from NY Yankee Mania. Yo, Jason. What's up, Jason? How's it going, man? Good to see you. Make sure you all subscribe to 161 River Ave if you have not already. I think a lot of you have, but still, if you haven't, make sure you subscribe. We got Barry Bear in the building. What's up, Supreme Panda? What up, Supreme Panda? What's going on? Who else? We got David Herrera. Gusto. What's up, Gusto? What's next? Drunk Hispanic. I don't know, bro. You tell me. What do you think is next? There's a lot of speculation out there, a lot of guesses and predictions. Tiffany, what's going on? Gusto, what up? Like Gusto says, like, share, and subscribe, and turn on that notification bell. Texas Buckeye, good to see you. I haven't seen you in a long time. What's going on, man? How are you? But yeah, shout out to everybody in the chat. Again, make sure you all hit that like, hit that subscribe, and share this channel out with everyone you know. Supreme Panda is already asking, where do I think Bregman will sign? Honestly, John Heyman was actually live earlier with Bleacher Reports, and sounds like John Heyman is saying that him going to the Mets is a possibility. So that's a possibility. I mean. It's either that he goes back to the Astros. I mean, does he go to the Tigers? I don't know. I'm not sure what happens with Bregman, but I don't think it'll be the Red Sox because I don't think Devers wants to move away from third base. So there is that. We got Yankee Dynasty Kings in the building. Yeah, it's all right, Grandma. I'm okay with that. Bregman to Seattle. I don't see Bregman to Seattle. I don't think they have any money at all. So yeah, I don't think they have any money to spend really for a guy like Bregman. Let's be honest. And yo, Mr. Controversy, what's up, man? Of course, it's never a show. If you're not here, bro, it's never a show. So. Oh, I got you, Graham. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, dude. It is what it is. Yeah, there's no way that Seattle's gonna get Alex Bregman. That's just not gonna happen. Yeah, they're broke, all right. Exactly. What's up, David A? What's going on? A Ronnie Green party? I'm not touching that one. But anyway, folks, listen, I think this is going to be the period now where the Yankees are going to wait. They're gonna wait things out. I feel like there's going to be a period now, or a few weeks of them being quiet, not really making any moves. Although there was some reports by John Heyman saying that that now the Yankees are interested in bringing back Chafin or bringing Andrew Chafin, sorry, or bringing back Tim Hill. But I don't know which one of those guys are the Yankees are going to sign, or are they bringing both back? I'm not sure. But one way or another, I mean, the Yankees are interested in these guys. Now, the infield, they still need to get another bat. Now, it still remains to be seen whether the Yankees get whether the Yankees get do they get a second baseman? Do they get a third baseman? I don't know. It still remains to be seen. Now, of course, Jack Curry came out on the hot stove on Yankee hot stove saying that that the Yankees were never in on Nolan Arenado. They don't have any interest in Nolan Arenado. Now, this is where the waiting game comes in, right? Arenado's market is limited, right? It's limited. I mean, the Yankees did try trading him to the or not the Yankees, but the Cardinals tried trading him to the Houston Astros, but he blocked it. He vetoed it because of his no trade clause. And it could be one of these situations where, the Yankees maybe they do talk with St. Louis about trading for Nolan Arenado, right? They're probably going to wait for them to eat up more of that contract, because that is a contract that a lot of teams are not really wanting to take on, which I do understand. So, I think the Yankees are gonna wait. I think they're gonna wait it out. Now, Arenado is not really the option here. I mean, there's other options that the Yankees could look at. A lot of folks do think that the Yankees are not going to make any moves, for that matter. They think that the Yankees are going to stay put, and they're going to go with one of their options internally. I mean, who that might be, I'm not sure. But again, you got Peraza, you got Cabrera. I hate to say it, I mean, you got DJ, but let's just see what happens. So, yeah, and I hope we're not getting a heavy dose of DJ. DJ is going to be a guy that he needs to be coming off the bench. He can't be a guy that's in the lineup. I've said that a million times, and I'm going to continue saying it. I'd like to see where Bregman's going to sign, because he has been with us and done. I mean, yeah, I get it there, Supreme Panda. I know he's done a lot for Houston, but it doesn't sound like, I don't know, it doesn't look like they're going to be reunited. So, and Jason, check your text, dude, when you get a sec, if you have a minute. So, what up, William? Good to see you, man. I mean, for Strowman, I mean, who would they trade for? I would imagine they would try to get a bat. I mean, definitely a bat. I mean, but they're going to have to attach some other players to Strowman to make it worthwhile. Strowman's contract, his remaining contract is 36 million. So, if a team is going to eat some of that contract, or not eat some of that contract, but take on some of that contract, they may, the Yankees are going to have to make it worthwhile for the other team. So they're going to have to attach other players, and now there has been talks of the Marlins right now. They're going to have to spend some money, or else there's going to be a grievance by the MLBPA. So, they could look to the Marlins and trying to trade Marcus Strowman and maybe attach, one or two other players. So, what they would get back from the Marlins. I mean, ideally, I'd like to get a bullpen arm and an infielder, that could play, second base or third base. So, we'll see what happens with that. So let's see what we got in the comments here. I already saw that. It was a cheap option, 1 year rental. They needed somebody to play first base with a good glove. I mean, he could hit left-handed pitching. He's got good defense at first base. Yeah, I know it's 18 and a half, and he's got a vesting for 2026. If he pitches 140 innings, then he does get that 18 and a half. But it's still money that's coming off the books, and the Yankees have to shed some salary anyway. Right now, their payroll right now is sitting at $303 million. So it is above the Cohen threshold. So I know they would want to get under that. So they can include a deal with the Marlins for our stadium rental. There you go. Yeah, cool. Jason, do you think they might look at Alcantara? Yo, Jason, check your text. I sent you a text there, bud. Check your text there. Do I want Arenado there, Gusto? I mean, if the Cardinals are going to eat a lot of his contract, then sure. It just doesn't seem like they want to eat a lot of his contract. They'll eat some of it. They're going to have to, but if they don't want to, then they're going to have to attach another player or two to make it worthwhile. Arenado would be solid for third base, though. I will say that he'd be a solid third baseman. I am an Arenado fan. I mean, I know he's on the other side of 30. Yankees would have him for 3 more years. I don't know if the Yankees want to take, again, I don't think they want to take on his entire contract. So, if the Marlins are really wanting to trade him, and again, his market is limited. So, if the Cardinals are trying to get rid of him, they're going to have to they're going to have to come to terms with certain things. And I got my guy Jason in the back. It looks like he's ready to go. Just give me a thumbs up. Yeah, he gave me the peace sign. Cool, man. Let's go.
What's up, everybody? Happy holidays, man. All of you.
Yeah, we got my guy Jason on the channel. Shout out to Jason from 161. You all know who he is. So
happy and merry to all of you. Hope you're having a great holiday season. Whatever you celebrate, happy and merry.
Yeah, hopefully everybody enjoyed their holidays. Hopefully yours was really good with the family and the kiddos.
My mom's upstairs right now playing with the girls. So
nice,
yeah.
Nice.
Yes, indeed. How you doing, man? How was yours?
I can't complain, man. It was pretty low key, like very quiet. Not a whole lot happened. You know what I mean? So it was a very quiet, weird day.
We were up rapping late night this is the first time that I've slept in probably a year. I slept in until almost 11 today, and I'm usually up at 5. So I must have been shredded for the week. So I slept in, but I'll be at the gym tomorrow at 5 again. So
there you go, dude. There you go. Yeah, but look, I think the Yankees right now, right? I think they're going to play the waiting game for a little bit. Things are going to stay a little quiet for now. They absolutely need to get another bat for the infield, whether at second base or third base. They need to get somebody, right? I know we kind of talked a little bit this morning about Arenado. Now, Jack Curry said that the Yankees are not in on Arenado, but they could always revisit that and and wait to see if the Cardinals are willing to eat more of his contract.
Price goes down. Yeah.
The price goes down. Yeah. I mean, if the Cardinals are trying to get out of his contract and they're trying to trade him and his market is limited, I mean, you gotta come to some sort of term as far as, you gotta, or else he's gonna be on your team then. I mean, if you're not willing to negotiate, if you're not willing to compromise.
And if I could add something, I mean, there's
Sure.
one person who knows more than Curry, and that's Brian Cashman.
Mm-hmm.
He knows more than Curry does every day.
Oh yeah.
So, Curry's going to report what Brian Cashman tells him, whatever everybody else tells him. So, I think they're going to wait for Arenado's price to come down, if that's an option. And I think when it comes to a trade market, probably Brandon Lowe, second base. I don't think Correa is an option, all honesty, because I don't think they'll be able to insure his contract. And that matters. He's got 4 years at $31 million plus, and then he's got 4 option years beyond that at $31 million plus too. So I just doesn't make any sense. Ha-Seong Kim I can see in free agency. But I think Brandon Lowe is probably the most ideally trade option for second. Arenado's probably for third. But I think the price has to come down first to make it a little bit more feasible, because the Yankees are already over the Cohen threshold.
Yeah. Yeah, they're right now their threshold is at
303.
They're at 30. Their payroll is at 303, right? So the Cohen threshold is 301. So yeah, they're definitely above it. They're gonna have to. I mean, obviously, the one name that we keep talking about that is gonna get traded. I feel like he's gonna get traded. We're talking like it's gonna happen, but I feel like it has to, and it's inevitable.
Mm-hmm.
And that is Marcus Strowman.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, you're not going to be able to trade Marcus Strowman by himself.
Probably not.
You're good. Because I mean, his contract might be team friendly, but they're going to have to, if they're going to trade him by himself, they're going to have to eat a lot of that money. I feel like, to make it worthwhile. Or
I would think so.
What was that?
I would think so too. Or attach a prospect.
Yeah.
Pretty good prospect. Again, like I mentioned the Marlins, because they're recipients of at least $70 million in revenue sharing money, and there's a chance that MLB Players Association might file a grievance for them because they don't it.
Right.
So this is a way of offloading some contract on the Marlins, and just to get them to follow the rules. And it's not a punitive thing or anything, but this is a trade that could help both teams. And if I was to target anybody, it would probably be Andrew Nardi, left-handed reliever.
Mm-hmm.
Good, but I know there's been talk about, even Mazur mentioned Sandy Alcantara as a way of, because I do think if they trade Strowman, they're probably going to add a starter, because that's 2 starters that they offloaded. Will be Strowman and Nestor Cortez. That's 300 innings they've got to replace. So I do think they'll add a starter to a degree. Alcantara is coming back off injury. He's got a big arm, but he's a guy that I would consider. And let's just say you eat $6 million off of Strowman's contract. Then it's pretty much an even swap with the Marlins, because he makes about 11-12 million, Alcantara. So, it becomes an even swap there.
Yeah, and just real quick, I see a few other folks that came into the chat. So I saw Tiffany, Ken, Cruise Control, D-Rod, what's going on? Desiree, what is up?
Hey guys.
Shout out to all of you in the chat again. Dion is in the chat. What is up? What is up? So, yeah, I know. If they were to trade Strowman, you think the Yankees would get another starter? I think
they'll add something. Yeah, I mean, if it's somebody like Alcantara, somebody on the cheap, I don't think they're going to add Jack Flaherty or something like that now, because with the Sean Manaea making $25 a year, I don't see Jack Flaherty making any less than that now. So I do think they'll add. Even if it's a long relief guy, they'll add somebody to just give them a little bit of pitching protection, because I don't think Clayton Beater, he might be a bullpen guy.
He's definitely going to be a bullpen guy.
Yeah, I don't know what he can give them, but I don't think they're going to give up 300 innings and not replace some of it. And Max Fried will give them almost 200, but beyond that, I think they'll need, because if somebody goes down, the Yankees might be in a little bit of trouble. So
this is true.
I do think they'll add something. I just don't know who. There's a lot of arms available, though. a lot of arms.
There's definitely a lot of arms available. I don't think they're going to sign another starter. I think they're definitely going to, if they do trade for another starter, it's going to be a trade for another starter.
Probably someone we're not even thinking about. So
you never know, right? Nardi would be. I mean, obviously, Yankees need some bullpen arms. That's a fact. The Yankees absolutely need some bullpen arms and lefty bullpen arms. So Nardi would fit that bill. Now, John Heyman did put out a tweet earlier, or he reported, and it was tweeted out by some other pages, saying that the Yankees are interested in Andrew Chafin or bringing back Tim Hill. Tim Hill, we already knew that they wanted to bring back. Andrew Chafin, though, that's a name, I had thought about a year ago that I'm like, maybe the Yankees bring him in. He'd be a solid lefty.
Veteran lefty. He's like 34, just like Tim Hill. So it's a veteran lefty. You can get both of them for a fraction of the price of a one Tanner Scott. So, that's the way I think about it too. If they want to add two crafty lefties, they could on the cheap for the most part. So, I'm not opposed to that. That just, to me, it means that they won't be bringing back Tommy Kahnle, and I'm okay with that too because they've got Fernando Cruz now. So, I'm okay with that if they bring in two of those guys. And I don't know if you heard, but the Nationals offered Gleyber Torres a contract, and he rejected it.
I did hear about that because they were asking him if he wanted to play third base, which I can't blame him for turning that down. He's not a third baseman. Come on,
Yeah. But I'll take those two. I'll be okay with those two lefties.
Yeah, do you think the Yankees sign both or bring one of them back?
I think they could, but I think they could sign both. I think, it was originally thought of like Tim Hill and Tommy Kahnle. I think it could be Tim Hill and a guy like Chafin or another lefty. I do see them bringing in probably two lefties on a relative cheap. Because Tanner Scott would be almost probably $16-17 million a year. So,
yeah, I don't think they're going to sign Tanner Scott. I think that's out of the question. They got their guy in Devin Williams in that trade, but right now, I think the Yankees have to, they definitely have to make a couple of moves for the bullpen. I think they're going to play the waiting game right now when it comes to bats at the moment.
They have 2 months until spring training, and they did most of their heavy lifting early on, so it may feel like forever. It may feel like they've done nothing because they were so busy so early, and they might be a little bit of a dry spot here. And you'll see little moves from Brian Cashman, right? Improving around the margins, adding guys like Cruz, adding like this guy like Brendan Davis, like they did yesterday, which creates flexibility to trade Trent Grisham now. So if they want,
which is going to be my next segue too. Because Grisham, that's another guy that could be on the trade block, right?
Yeah.
So they got Brendan Davis, right? So it sounds like from what I read, he's a solid player, solid bat, but unfortunately there was injuries that kind of derailed him, derailed his career. But he's still he was still a very highly touted prospect.
He was a top 100. He's 25 years old.
Yeah, much younger.
Started yet. So he's got at least 6 years of service time.
So. Yeah. So, So, that's a solid pickup for the Yankees. And I don't believe he's on the 40-man roster.
He's not.
So they're going to – what was that?
They got him on a minor league deal, so he's not on the 40-man.
Yeah, so they're going to have to – if they're going to try to add him to the 40-man, they're going to have to make some room for him. So,
Everson Pereira, I think, is still on the 40-man as well. So they'd have to move either one of those guys, I think.
Yeah. And Texas Buckeye was asking, the strike zone, where can we give up payroll to have money to spend, I think is what he meant to say. Well, trading Strowman for starters, that's gonna clear up a bunch of money right there. And then Grisham. So, trading those guys, the Yankees will have like an additional $40 million?
Well, if you cumulatively, yes, you'd have about almost 20 this year.
Yeah.
have the option for 2026 on Strowman. It's a vesting option. So cumulatively, yeah, they'd be clearing up about $40 million.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I mean it's a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of money. So
yeah, and Hicks's money comes off after this year.
true.
DJ's
Rizzo
next year. So
and then Rizzo's too, yeah.
Rizzo's buyout comes off. DJ's money comes off. Then Stanton comes out the year after that. So they have a lot of money coming off the books in the next 3 off seasons.
Mm-hmm.
A lot.
Yeah. So yeah, a lot of so I mean that's where the Yankees could start as far as shedding payroll, right? So if the Yankees can find a way to to trade Strowman, trade Grisham. I don't know if you trade them together, but it could be, separate. It'll probably be separate trades, if anything. That's going to be the next thing, right? With the Yankees is their bench, because I know we've been talking a lot about what players the Yankees could target, who they could go after. We mentioned all these names, all these bats that they could potentially go after, and who would be in that starting lineup. But the one thing that I have been thinking about recently has been the Yankees bench. And I don't think it's a particular strength right now. You do have Oswaldo Cabrera. He's your utility guy.
And then whoever the backup catcher is going to be, JC.
Right.
And then you generally have an infielder and an outfielder and a utility and a backup catcher, right? So Oswaldo's the utility. The outfield is probably going to be, well, if it's not Grisham, it's probably going to be Brennan Davis.
Mm-hmm.
The infielder could be Oswald Peraza or Yorbit Vivas or something like that. Or somebody who emerges during spring training that we're not even thinking of. But I do think Oswaldo will be the utility guy. But you're right, they do need to get strength of the bench.
Yeah, because I'm not when you look at the Yankees bench, I'm not too confident with I like Cabrera, obviously. He's a great utility guy. Then you have your backup catcher, whoever that may be. I think it might be JC Escara. I know some people are saying Ben Rice, but I don't know if they want 2 lefty bats being their catchers.
Yeah, I would look out for somebody like Kike Hernandez too. He was a mentor to Cody Bellinger. Dodgers, available as a free agent. He's got positional versatility. He's a guy I would look out for. They could probably get him on the cheap.
And is Kike a free agent?
Yeah, he is. But somebody to think about. At least I'm thinking about him, but I don't know if the Yankees will do it. But he served as a pretty valuable mentor for Cody Bellinger.
Well, I mean, there that could be a connection.
Could be.
That could very well be a connection. So, you could get Kike as a bat, and he plays a few different positions. So, I mean, he has a lot of versatility.
I'm going to look it up right now and see what positions he plays. Let's have a look here.
Yeah, go for it, man.
Kike,
second base, shortstop. I think he could play outfield.
Hernandez. Here we go. Kike plays. I mean, he's a utility player. So he could be a utility player, and they could package Oswaldo in a trade if they got a guy like Kike. But I would like to have 2 utility versatile.
Yes.
And Kike and Oswaldo would be nice. And that way you can have your backup catcher and then somebody like Brennan Davis or something like that. So yeah, it says here, outfielder, second baseman, and shortstop. So he's got that positional versatility. So, yep.
Yeah, so you could easily put him at second base, keep Jazz at third.
You could.
I know Jazz's natural position is second base, but I mean he's got an arm for third base. But if he get his if he is going to be your starting third baseman, as long as he gets his training in this offseason playing third base, I think he's going to be fine. And that infield is going to be solid. And the only person that somewhat worries me a little bit with that in that infield is Volpe. I think as I'm expecting Volpe, this is going to be his 3rd year in the majors. So I'm expecting him. I do expect him to have a better year compared to the first and second year. The second year, he was better. He but there was still areas that he needed to improve in. So I'm hoping his defense is better going into year 3, and I hope his at bats are better. But for me right now, I think the Yankees defense is what needs to be the main focus, and I think that's what Cashman's focus was in this offseason in whichever players he was acquiring, was that you were going to have a solid defense behind the pitching. So I know folks are upset that the Yankees signed Goldschmidt, but Goldschmidt can play first base.
And who do they prefer over Goldschmidt?
I know some Yankees fans were wanting Pete Alonso, but there's no way that personally, I'm not going after Alonso. I'm not saying Alonso is a bad player. I don't think he's a bad player, but that contract is going to be expensive as hell. And
he turned down 7 years, 161 million from the Mets.
Well,
he turned it down.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Nathaniel Lowe was another player that some Yankees fans were mentioning. I wouldn't have minded him. He's solid.
I think he's still a trade option, Nate Lowe.
No, he got traded to the Nationals.
Sorry, Brandon Lowe. Brandon Lowe.
Brandon Lowe, yeah. Brandon Lowe is still a trade option. He'd be perfect for second base. Another first baseman that folks wanted was Carlos Santana. That was another name that was floating out there. I mean, I wouldn't have been opposed to Santana, but Goldschmidt, the thing is, look, the guy's good defensively. He could play first base.
4-time Gold.
4-time Gold Glover. He was MVP. Yes, he's a righty bat, but he can hit lefty pitching, and that was another factor, right? That was another thing. The Yankees, when it came to lefty pitchers, they were just it was a foregone conclusion for those guys. They couldn't hit lefty pitching to save their lives. So, I mean, I'm not right. As far as lefty righty bats, the Yankees need bats that could hit lefty pitching. Because it really didn't matter with lefty bats, righty bats. The Yankees just could not hit lefty pitching.
And if you look at his on-base percentage, is 50 points higher than Christian Walker. 50.
Mm-hmm.
You look at his OPS at Yankee Stadium, it's like 1.35. It's like 600 points higher than the next highest first baseman that they were looking at. So his stats play well at Yankee Stadium. His on-base percentage plays extremely well, and it's a good way of replacing some of Juan Soto's on-base percentage, right?
Mm-hmm.
So without interrupting their plans for 2026, because he doesn't. If I would have been okay with Carl Santana too. I think it would have been fine. But like if you get Christian Walker, then on a multi-year deal like he got from the Astros, then it interferes with their plans, right? If you want Kyle Tucker, then you have to consider moving Cody Bellinger to first base. You give a first base for multiple years, that plan is over. Like that. So, you want Murakami from Japan. You give a first base for multiple years, that plan's over because you have Jazz at third. So, these things I think are factored in by the Yankees and Brian Cashman. So there's a reason why they did it. Plus, again, he serves their needs offensively and defensively at the same time and only cost a 1-year deal. So.
Yeah, and on top of that, $12.5 million.
Doesn't hamstring them.
To me, that's an absolute steal.
Yeah,
and I'm sure I'm sure Goldschmidt might have been looking for a 2-year deal, but
he turned down bigger offers and bigger dollars and more years to come to. So that a guy like that wants to be here. I'll take guys like that.
Oh yeah.
Be here, and unfortunately figured out Soto did not want to be here, right? Well, we got guys that do want to be here, so I'll take that. I'll take it.
Yeah, and real quick, just looking at what's up, Pito. Well, good to see you, man. Mark Gates, Steve-O, see a few of you popping in the chat. Thank you all for tuning in. So yeah, already 35 minutes into the live stream, so appreciate everybody hanging out with myself and Jason from 161. So make sure you all are hitting those likes and hit and make sure you're subscribing to our channels too. Greatly appreciated. And Pito Will, member for 3 months. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. And Texas Buckeye, saying, the Yankees are wasting Judge and Cole's years. I mean, listen, yeah, they're getting older, no doubt. They're not getting any younger. This is why the Yankees are making the moves that they're making right now. They want to win a championship with these guys, so it's not like they're, trying to waste these guys' years. They're trying to build a team. They try to bring back Juan Soto. Juan Soto ultimately went to the Mets because the money. He just fell in love with the money. That's what it boils down to. All the other stories that have been coming out, I think those are just excuses. But the Yankees quickly moved. It lit a fire under Hal, and he made some moves. I mean, he signed Max Fried. He traded for Devin Williams, traded for Cody Bellinger. They did sign back Loaisaga. So, it's not like the Yankees just froze. They started making moves. The job is not done. They still filled those holes.
Mm-hmm.
I will say they still fill those holes. There's to me, again, there's only one major hole, and that's either second base or third base. That's the only hole that they have left. Would you be surprised? I know some fans feel that that they're saying that the Yankees are done making moves, but let's just say the Yankees don't. Do you think the Yankees could possibly just go internally for second base?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so because they're keeping active dialogue with teams and I think they need a lefty bat for their infield and they need another lefty bat, and none of the guys we have here are lefty bats.
Mm-hmm. Is Lau a lefty bat? Brandon Lau from Tampa Bay.
Yeah, he's a lefty.
Yeah, he'd be perfect. Yandy Diaz, is he?
He's righty.
He's a righty. Okay, so Lau would definitely fit that bill. So he would definitely fit that bill. And if they could get Lau, that infield would be set.
Up the middle, they'd be superb defensively. Going to the corner, superb defensively. It'd be such a different look than last year. I mean, one of the biggest problems they had last year was infield defense, right? So
big time.
Big turnaround from the infield defense from last year. So, and again, if you look at the offensive, like you had Judge and Soto, and then Stanton when he was great, and then a big drop off offensively to the rest of the offense. Right now, you've got a little bit more balance. Bellinger, you got Goldschmidt, you got a bit more length to the lineup, right? And Dominguez, a full year of him. There's a chance you could have probably 6 or 7 guys with 20 to 25 home runs plus, and that's saying something. They couldn't have had that last year. They could have this year. So I'll take that.
Yeah, I mean, I know I know Juan Soto is Juan Soto. Juan Soto is him. He's that. You're not going to replace Juan Soto. It's a fact, right? But you could still get good quality bats, and hopefully you get good quality at bats from the lineup that the Yankees put together. As long as these guys are being productive and they're getting timely hits and they're not just totally reliant on the home run ball, they're doing better. They do better with runners in scoring position because when it came to runners in scoring position last season, this past season, there's no denying that they left a lot of runners on base. How many times did we see the bases loaded, no outs, and they only score 1 run, or you have a runner on second and third and it's 1 out or something, and they can't manage to, they just couldn't manage to get a run, with runners in scoring position. And it's just like, it's concerning. And I'm hoping for a little bit more, better base running, right? Not so much like station to station. I'm hoping for a little bit better, base running from the Yankees, and I think they have that with some of the guys that they have in their lineup.
Mm-hmm. And you can't replace Soto with one player, but that doesn't mean you can't get better. So the team has gotten better in a lot of different areas in the absence of Juan Soto, right? They added Devin Williams in the last half decade, the lowest ERA in baseball for relievers. Max Fried, half decade for starters, lowest ERA in baseball. So they've added valuable skill sets he induces a lot of ground balls too, Max Fried. It's one reason why they want to get defensively skilled infielders to capitalize on the ground ball activity, right? So there's a reason why Brandon Lowe is such a good fit, or some of these other guys are such a good fit. And, you don't need to go with the heavy hitters offensively who are on the wrong side of 30. That doesn't guarantee any more taking advantage of Judge and Cole's prime years than these other guys would. If you brought in Bregman, that doesn't guarantee him anything, right? And again, Bregman blocks the path to Roki Sasaki if they want to get him. So does Christian Walker. So does Pete Alonso. All those guys block the path to Hiroki Sasaki, the guy that people have been talking about for a year. If you want to have a legitimate chance in getting him, I don't know what their chances are, but not going to get any better if you getting guys with qualifying offers. It's going to get worse. So, and if you're going to add a pitcher, you probably want to add a kid like that on the cheap instead of spending $20 million a year for something. You get 3 years of pre-arb and 3 years of ARB for that guy.
For Roki, yeah.
You're not going to find a better value in baseball right now.
I mean, I don't know if the Yankees, honestly, I don't know what are the odds of him signing with the Yankees. I mean, if I'm being realistic here, I think he signs with the West Coast team. I'm not saying it's the Dodgers. I'm saying it could be the Padres. I mean, you could potentially see the Mariners. Those are two teams that come to mind. Now, if he did sign with the Dodgers, would I be surprised? No, not really, because the Dodgers, they'll go out and spend money. And funny question from Buckeye. He's like, who do I think plunks Soto first? Well, if you piss him off, it's going to be Garrett Cole.
Yeah. Good luck charging the mound. Good luck.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And Ken's asking you why not Jurickson Profar.
He's an option too. He's got good on base percentage, but he's going to cost almost $20 million a year. So I think the reason why he's not going to be here most likely now is because of the cost. If you can somehow get him for less, then I consider it because he is a switch hitter. He's got good on base and he can play multiple positions. But at this point, Ken, I think Brandon Lowe or something like that's a better value for the team. I think at this point, the heavy lifting's done. I think they're going to try to get better value in the rest of the moves that they make to really put the finishing touches on it. That's my take. But would I be upset if they got him? Absolutely not. No.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at Brandon Lau's contract here because I think he comes
$11 million a year, I think, or something like that for the next 2 years.
$11 million a year. I mean, it's on the cheap.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, yeah. So okay, so $10.5 million for 2025, and then there's a club option for 2026
for a similar cost, right?
11.5 if they were to exercise his option, the club option.
Comes out to an 11 average.
Probably
$8 million less than Profar is going to get.
Yeah. So, but then the question remains. Then the question you need to ask is, do the Rays trade with the Yankees?
They have before, so I mean, I don't think they're going to trade. I think they'll more than likely trade Lowe instead of Yandy to the Yankees. So we have some pieces that they could utilize, and even if it costs a good piece, a good prospect, I wouldn't hesitate to give it because we're at the point now where we might be 1 or 2 pieces away, and we might need to give to get right. So the Rays are more than 1 or 2 pieces away. So we're not. We're close. We're right there. We were in the World Series last year. So I think any other team in the American League has gotten better more than the Yankees. If you look at the other teams that have done the moves, nobody's done more than the Yankees. Nobody's improved as much as the Yankees in the American League.
In the American League, no. I mean, the only team that you could probably argue, and they kind of improved a little bit on their pitching staff, you could say the Red Sox, because they did trade for Crochet. They just signed Walker Buehler.
The Royals got better too. The Royals and the A's and
the Royals.
Not like at least in my opinion, the Yankees have done more work than any team in baseball in the offseason.
Oh yeah. I'm definitely not arguing that. I'm definitely not arguing that. I think the Yankees have done the most, I would say, and you got not to say that other teams didn't improve. I mean, shoot, the Royals. I mean, they're still going to be a team. I'd say, hey, look out for them. I mean, they traded for Jonathan India, that was a guy that I wanted. That was a guy that I wanted the Yankees to go after at the deadline. But it didn't seem like the Reds were interested in trading him at that time.
Good player.
But he's an excellent player, I think, and he'd be perfect for second base.
Yeah,
he'd be a perfect second baseman.
And to your point too, like, when you lose a player like Soto, it's almost like losing a player like Ohtani. You have to be at that point strategic in your pivot afterward, because there's no player that you can replace him with that's going to have the same impact. Nobody. So, and the Yankees have done that in a bunch of different ways. I mean, you could have brought in Alonso and Bregman and Teoscar Hernandez, and that wasn't going to guarantee them anything. Wasn't going to put them in the World Series. Like, nothing guaranteed. Like, these guys went to the World Series without any of those guys, right? So, the Yankees have, and to me, that's the bigger picture. I know a lot of people probably disagree with me, but I think that's the bigger picture here for the Yankees.
Well, if the thing is, it's just, remember when Robinson Cano signed with the Mariners and then they signed Ellsbury. I'm like, I don't think this is going to solve anything.
No, that was a reactionary. They signed Ellsbury, yeah. Ellsbury, McCann, Carlos Beltran, and Masahiro Tanaka. Here, there's a lot more strategic moves to me. Cody Bellinger is a better fit than Jacoby Ellsbury.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Max Fried's a better fit for the rotation. Devin Williams, they got better all across the board. So Devin Williams in the bullpen, he added another reliever, and he added an all-star Gold Glove first baseman. So and again, the market's different now, and that was, what did the Yankees? Why did they sign Ellsbury? Was the Red Sox signed somebody? I forgot who it was. That made the Yankees pivot. Daisuke Matsuzaka, maybe something like that. That made the Yankees
maybe pivot. That was like 10 years ago, man. So yeah. I'm like,
I think it might have been Daisuke. I think it was, and Jacoby Ellsbury obviously wasn't he was good for the first few years, and then he didn't play the last 3 years. Thankfully, they had his contract insured. So, but Brian McCann was solid here. Beltran was solid here. And Masahiro Tanaka was very solid here. So they didn't have the supporting cast beyond these guys to make the team any better. We do now. So
yeah,
different team, a different game now.
Yeah, no, I think the Yankees definitely played it smart, and Dion, I'm right there with you. If at all possible, I would love to move Jazz Chisholm to second base. I mean, ideally, that's where I would like to move him. I would love for him to play second base. But if he happens to be playing third base, then so be it. I don't think he was too bad at that position. I know he was still learning, but I think with his him being athletic, I think he's got the athleticism to be to be a good to play anywhere, really. I mean, you ask him to go play this position, he'll be like, all right, cool, like I'll make it happen. But yeah, I'm with you though. I want him to play. I would love for him to play second base, but ultimately, I think if the Yankees trade for a second baseman, then he's going to be kept at third. What I'm happy about though is that I am happy that Judge is going to be back to right field.
Yeah.
I am very happy about that. I'm not saying he's a bad center fielder. He's just better in right. And that's just his more natural position. So, again, if the Yankees did sign Soto, I mean, he was going to be back in center. It was inevitable that was going to happen, and then it was going to be an outfield of probably, Dominguez, Judge, Soto. But now it's probably going to be Dominguez, Bellinger, Judge. Mm-hmm. So,
much better.
What was that?
Much better defensive outfield.
Yeah, much better. Oh, defensively, it improves a lot. I just hope that if with Dominguez playing center field, I hope he does show I hope he can play left field because left field in Yankee Stadium, as you know, that's a hard position to play.
I have a feeling Dominguez is going to wind up in center field.
You think they'll move Bellinger to left?
Yeah, I mean, even Aaron Boone said that Bellinger to center is not true. So
yeah, no, he did. He said he poured cold water on that. He said, he kept it open for Bellinger.
Yeah, I think the best alignment to the outfield that we have is Bellinger in left, Dominguez in center, and Aaron Judge in right. Because you'd be protecting the young kid by elite gloves on either side of the infield, at the outfield. So, and they give him a chance to kind of make his mistakes and learn, and he'll have protection from both sides. They're two outstanding outfielders. So, putting him in left field, I think you're kind of throwing him to the wolves. I think so.
Yeah.
I think the better position for Dominguez is center field right now.
Well, that's where ideally, like if Dominguez plays left field, I wouldn't be surprised, but I'd rather have him in center field.
Yeah.
I'd rather have him in center field, but it's kind of like I want Judge in right field, which, I'm glad it's happening. I'd rather have Jazz at second, but if he plays third, I don't think it's going to be a big liability. I think he'll be fine at third base. But a question that was asked by Edward: is it possible that Dominguez is the next Soto or better? It's too early to tell, man. We truly have not seen Dominguez. We haven't seen his potential yet. We've seen
his height.
Small samples. I mean, we've seen him, play well. We've also have seen him not play well. So, but there's no telling if he's going to be better than Soto or if he's the next Soto. I mean, who knows? But let him be the next Dominguez. Let him be the Martian. But as far as what type of a caliber player he's going to be, it still remains to be seen. I think there's a lot of potential. I mean, he's the number one prospect for a reason. He's highly touted. I think he's going to be good, but don't expect like Superman numbers though. His first, the first year, if he does have Superman numbers, I mean, fine. We're not. I mean, I think all of us are going to be excited, but you got to give this guy time to adjust. So for everyone that is saying, the Yankees need to play their prospects, cool. Just give them time. You got to give these prospects time to adjust to the major league level because it's a different caliber. They could be killing it in AAA. Fine, sure. Ben Rice was also killing it in AAA as well, but he got up to the majors. He had his moments, but ultimately it was clear that Ben Rice still needed to develop. Dominguez, I think is ready, but you got to give this guy time to adjust to the majors. Yeah. And I'm glad he's going to get, assuming he's your starting outfielder. I mean, it sounds like he's going to be. So you got to give him 2 full seasons to see, is this dude the real deal? Which I think he is. I think he's got a lot of potential.
Yeah.
Just let him be his own player. Like, let's stop with the comparisons of like he's the next so and so. Like, let him be Dominguez. Let him be Jason Dominguez.
Yeah, I agree. It's great. He's a great kid. He's got a good head on his shoulders. Comes from a good baseball family. Great family. He's got he's a good fundamental player. Good eye, pitch recognition, doesn't strike out a lot, draws walks, puts the bat on the ball. So he's got all the makings of a very good player if he gets a chance to stay healthy and play. So glad he's here. I'm glad he's here.
I'm glad he's here too. So, and Ken is already putting his prediction of 250, 25 home runs, 20 stolen bases. Listen, if he does that, I will take that all day, Ken.
Sign me up for that, baby. Sign me up for that.
Sign me up for that for sure. And, Texas Buckeyes adding the development process is 3 to 4 years as pitchers adjust too. Well, yeah, I mean, Buckeye, it takes time. So,
year in the system, by the way.
I'm fifth?
6th year in the system.
6th, okay.
So, Spencer Jones, I know he's a little behind, but he's going into his 3rd year.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he's already playing pro ball at a high level, Spencer Jones. So, I would look out for him. You could have an outfield of Dominguez and Spencer Jones in a couple of years if Bellinger moves on and moves to first base. So, you could have that too.
Yeah, Dominguez. Yeah, Jones. I'll tell you. He's got a great bat. I mean, Jones has got a lot of potential. He's got a lot of high upside.
And to your point too, I mean, I hope Jones starts in AAA, and I hope he works his way to the major leagues because he could be the reason that we don't pursue Kyle Tucker next year. If he shows to be the real deal, then maybe we don't need to spend $500 million on Kyle Tucker. Maybe because we have our own Kyle Tucker here in Spencer Jones. So one reason I'm excited about him.
if he can come down on his strikeout rate, on his strikeouts, I mean, yeah, he'd be an elite hitter. I mean, he's got a lot of potential. He's got so much potential. And yeah, you could have an outfield with him and Dominguez. And then whoever the third outfielder is going to be, it's probably, I mean,
Judge.
probably Judge at that point, but at some point, you're going to have to find somebody else to fulfill that role because Judge will be 33, I think, when the season starts. So, you got 3 more years of Giancarlo, and the Yankees are more than likely not going to exercise his club option or the club option for Giancarlo. Judge will probably fill in that DH role. They're going to have to find another outfielder. I don't know who that might be in the future, but yeah, I'd be listen if Spencer Jones is going to be that guy, then sure, they don't need to go out and spend $500 million for Kyle Tucker. But speaking of $500 million, do you see the Yankees making a run for Vlad Jr.? I know we're jumping way ahead.
Nope.
You're definitely saying no. Okay. Why do you feel that way?
I think he's going to go to the Mets. I don't think he's a fit here.
Okay. I can respect that.
I don't think
I respect that.
I don't. Yeah, I'm not buying the Twitter sphere hype and all. No, I don't think he's a fit. I loved his dad. His dad would have been a perfect fit here, but I don't think he's a fit here. I think he's going to wind up going to the Mets. Vlad Jr. To me, there's too much of a fluctuation with Vlad too. I think we need a little bit more stability at first base. So,
yeah. You think Murakami's going to be that target for the Yankees then?
Probably. And he's younger than Vlad Jr. Right, he's actually right around the same age. I think they're both 24, right? So, and he'll cost less than Vlad Jr. because Vlad will probably cost $400 to $500 million. Murakami will cost a heck of a lot less. Has versatility. He can move to third base. So
yeah,
but I'll take Murakami personally. I think he could be a good one here. And if the Yankees somehow are like at the finish line with Roki Sasaki, one of the things I'd say is like, look, man, we'll do everything in our power to bring Murakami here next year. If you sign with the Yankees, like Roki Sasaki and Murakami, it could be a pretty nice dynamic duo for the Yankees. I'll take that over Vlad Guerrero Jr.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I think Vlad Jr. he's a great player, but I'm right there with you. I think he signs with the Mets. I think he's going to go to the Mets, but Murakami, he spent the majority of his time of his career playing first base, right? I know he's played third base. Okay. Because there was somebody busting my chops in the comments one time saying that Murakami's a third baseman, and then he's like, you don't know your information. I'm like, okay, he's played third base, but
he does both. He plays both.
Yeah, but he's better
at first base, so
he's better at first, right? Yeah. But
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, but in all honesty, I do see the Yankees making a run for Kyle Tucker next season.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, I think they will, because look, they tried trading for him with the Astros. The Astros ultimately didn't want to trade him to the Yankees. So I know he talked a possible extension with the Chicago Cubs, but however, after seeing what Soto got, I don't see him signing an extension. I think he's going to look to the free agency, because he knows he's going to get a big payday. He knows some team out there is going to pay him big time. And I think the Yankees are going to be in on him.
If I remember correctly, he's with Excel Sports Management. Casey Close is his agent. Casey Close also represented Derek Jeter.
Mm-hmm.
So he was Jeter's. So there's a indirect Yankees connection there.
Yeah, there is a relationship for sure.
But why Kyle Tucker's also going to be 28. So do you want to pay him $500 million and get a lot of those back end years for a lot of money? That's my other concern there too. If he was 25 or 26, like Soto, I'd be more interested in a long-term deal, because he's going to cost probably 10 years, close to $500 million. So do you really want to pay a lot of those back end years? Question.
I mean, that's the question, right? But I mean, to give you an example though, right? The Yankees at the time, they signed A-Rod to a 10-year deal and he was 32.
Yep.
So you're doing this for a guy who's 28. I mean 4 years. I think 4 years makes a difference in especially for athletes. But
Brian Cashman, I don't know if I told you this. Brian Cashman had a trade set up for A-Rod. He was going to trade him to the Angels for Jared Weaver, Chone Figgins, and a bunch of these other guys. And Hank Steinbrenner overruled him, and then gave him that second 10-year extension. So that's what happened. He was overruled by Hank Steinbrenner, Hal's brother.
Yeah, and a lot of folks don't. I'm glad you brought that up because a lot of folks don't understand that. I know because people like to point the finger at Brian Cashman for everything, but he's not the one that signs the paychecks.
Got overruled by the boss.
If the boss tells you no, then it's a no. You don't say, oh, but come on. No. If the boss tells you no, it's a no.
They're the owners of the team. They own the game.
They own it. They own the team.
Yeah.
So it's like you brought up Vladimir Guerrero Sr. We've talked about it. Yankees had a deal in place, and
he had an agreement with Vlad Jr. I mean, I'm sorry, Vlad Sr.
Vlad Sr. Yeah.
George Steinbrenner overruled Brian Cashman and signed Gary Sheffield instead.
Right.
Vlad Guerrero Sr. could have been a Yankee, and he got overruled. Brian Cashman he had a 6-year deal ready to go, and he got overruled by George Steinbrenner. So
yeah. So if the boss says no, we're going to go this direction. Guess what? You're gonna listen. You're gonna listen to the boss.
Yeah.
And apparently, George was he was ballsy, but he was also a nutcase. At the time, he also wanted to trade away some of the guys from the dynasty years.
He tried to trade away Rivera.
Yeah.
He also tried to sabotage. He hired a bookie. For those that don't know why he was banned from baseball, he hired a bookie to invent dirt on Dave Winfield. Because he wanted to sabotage him. And then that was exposed. He got banned for life from baseball. And then he was reinstated 3 years later. And during that 3 years he was gone, that's when they drafted Derek Jeter. That's when they drafted a lot of these guys. So the Yankees were lucky he was banned for those 3 years. Otherwise, that core four wouldn't exist. Which is crazy, but
yeah. So,
no doubt he's a Yankees legend owner. There's no doubt about that.
Oh yeah, no, he's definitely done a lot of great things for the Yankees, no doubt. But
stepped on his own feet sometimes, so it happens. Yeah, but it is what it is.
It is what it is. But yeah, but talking about like this offseason right now, going into 2025. Yeah, the Yankees. Yeah, there's 2 months. There's 2 months left before pitchers and catchers have to report, or a little less than 2 months. We're about 3 months away from opening day, so we're not far apart. Again, I don't think the Yankees are done.
I don't either.
I don't think the Yankees are done. I think the Yankees are going to they're going to sign another bat for sure. Or not sign another bat, trade for another bat. I think at this point they're going to trade for another bat.
I agree.
But I think ultimately, I think second base is going to be their target. I think. Would you agree with that?
I would agree. Yeah. I would.
Yeah, because so you got Brandon Lau. That's a name that I know we've talked about. Other options that the Yankees could look into. They could always look internally whether that's Oswaldo Cabrera, Oswald Peraza. They could look into those guys. Vivas could be an option as well. So I could see that. I could see them going internally for that. I hope it's nothing against him, and I've said it many times. I hope it's not DJ LeMahieu. It shouldn't be him. But that's a good.
To compliment Buckeye's point too, because I think they want to bring in somebody more seasoned and more healthy to better take advantage of the prime years of Judge and Cole and the rest of these guys. Ace,
Ace. Yep.
Like Blow is a better option than any of these guys internally right now.
Yeah.
Help take advantage, help keep them a win now team. So is Yandy Diaz, right? Like so is some of these other guys. So I think they're going to wind up going that route.
Yeah. What other second baseman do you have in mind? I know we've talked about Lau quite a bit.
Well, free agency, Ha-Seong Kim.
He's another one. Yeah.
And
do the Yankees sign a player though? That's the question.
Yeah, I mean they have to clear some payroll unless Hal's just like, you know what, let's go. We're already over the threshold. Let's go a little bit more. But I don't know. I don't know, and I don't know if he's going to last that long in free agency either. So, to me, that the most logical is Brandon Lau.
Yeah.
So, and I think he's probably the one that's probably the easiest to get. I don't know how much it would cost, but I do think it's not like trading Wander Franco in his prime pre-statue rape and all that stuff, but this is a different player. It's a good, solid player, but the Rays could use that payroll flexibility elsewhere.
Yeah, and I mean the Rays are, and the Rays are known to develop players and then trade them and then get other players from other teams.
And if you look at their top prospects, they have several infield prospects on the top 100 prospects list, so they could easily replace Lowe. Internally.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, the Rays do a good job of developing players. I mean, there's no doubt about it, which surprises me that they don't make it to the playoffs more often with the way they develop players. But actually, what another name, Alec Bohm from the Phillies. The Phillies are trying to trade him. I think, you know what, man, I don't know if the Yankees got in touch with the Phillies at all. I know there hasn't been any reports or anything like that, but I wouldn't mind him. I wouldn't mind him at third base, and you move Jazz over to second, and that infield again would be solid.
Change of scenery might be good for him. I mean, the Yankees clubhouse is less chaotic than the Phillies clubhouse, so there's that. Maybe it'd be better because I know he's got some maturity things going on. Maybe he'll be better suited being around guys like Aaron Judge. The Yankees are a little bit more, buttoned up when it comes to that type of stuff. The Phillies can be erratic, right? You got Bryce Harper. You got a lot of these fiery guys. Yankees have a lot of fiery guys too, but it's just a little bit more of a buttoned up clubhouse. So maybe that'll do Bohm some good. And if they brought him in, you get another bat. He's not a lefty, but he's still a power arm. He's still a power bat. So you can play him at third, like you said, and move Jazz to second, which I'd be fine with too.
Yeah, and freaking Ace is saying Gleyber Torres. Yeah, no.
Ace, I heard Gleyber turned down a contract from the Nationals, so they offered him a third base job, and he said nope.
Yeah, I have no idea why you would offer him a third base job. That's just that's a big no.
I don't even know who they have for second base. The Nationals. I have no idea. I don't know.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you. I have no clue, man. I haven't really looked at the roster, but no, Lau for second base, but Alec Bohm, man, I think that's I think that's another player that the Yankees should look at. So
it has some power. He's got power. So
yeah, and D-Rod is saying Cashman has said that he prefers Jazz at second base. Third base will be the hole to fill. Right now, it's Cabrera and DJ until further notice. Yeah, if that, I mean, I'm afraid he might be right. It might be.
None of those guys are going to start.
I can't see DJ starting. I can't see Cabrera starting. I mean, if I had to pick out of the two, I'd go Cabrera 100%. But Cabrera is going to be a guy I think that comes off the bench because he's that utility guy. You can play him if a player needs a day off or something, or if a player gets hurt, you could easily plug him in. So, somebody said that they're, Ace is saying, all jokes aside, are you guys surprised Gleyber is still out there? His market is very, I'm a little surprised that he's still, I'm a little bit surprised that he's still out there. I thought some team would have snatched him up, but maybe they don't want to commit long-term to him.
The free agent second base market hasn't really materialized yet. There hasn't been a single free agent second baseman signed yet.
Yeah, I mean, Kim hasn't signed. Gleyber hasn't signed. I mean, who else is a free agent at second base? It's very minimal, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just a trade market, and those guys haven't even, with the exception of Jonathan India, none of them have been traded yet. So there's a lot of markets that have still yet to be established. Like, we're still waiting to figure out how much Corbin Burns is going to cost, right? So they can figure out how much Jack Flaherty is going to cost and all this other stuff. So we don't even know about the reliever market. None of the relievers, the top relievers, have signed yet. Blake Treinen is re-signed with the Dodgers, but with Jeff Hoffman still out there, Carlos Estevez still out there, all those top arms are still available. So the market's not been established yet. So I have a feeling that January.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. And you still have the Scott Boras agents, the big names. You got Corbin Burns, Pete Alonso, Alex Bregman. These guys are still free agents, and I've asked this question before on one of my live streams, but do you think it's going to be another repeat this offseason of, you remember how this past offseason early in 2024, you had all these Scott Boras free agents, and like spring training comes around, some of these guys were still not signed to a team, like Blake Snell, Jordan Montgomery, Cody Bellinger. Like these guys were still, they were still free agents, and nobody was biting. And then, Montgomery ended up firing them, so that should tell you something. I'm hoping, the players don't drag their feet, because they're, I don't think for one, like, I don't think Bregman's going to get $200 million. I don't see it. And then
I don't think Alonso's going to get $200 million either.
Oh, no way. Alonso's not. I don't think he'll get $200 million. But after seeing Christian, or not, who is that outfielder Christian Walker. Never mind. Yeah, Christian Walker. He's getting paid $20 million a year now. Alonso probably saw $20 million a year. He's like, oh, I should be getting paid way more than that. So Alonso is going to try and demand like between 25 to 30.
Yeah, he'll probably get a 5 or 6 year deal.
Yeah,
I think Corbin Burns is probably going to get 7 or 8, and Bregman will probably get 6. But some of these other, like, somebody was floating around some $300 million number for Bregman. There's no way in the world I see him getting that.
No way. Nah, he doesn't get $300 million now. Corbin Burns, there was reports saying that Corbin Burns is looking for a deal that's worth $245 million.
Similar to Steven Strasburg, 7 years, $35 million per. So that's exactly what Strasburg got. 7 years, $75.
Yeah, 7 for 240. $245 for 7 years. That would put it at 35, like you said. That's probably going to be the price point that he wants to be for AAV is $35 million. Which, if you look at Blake Snell's contract, his was 36. Without the deferrals. I know he's getting the deferrals, but in reality, though, it's 36. So you better believe that he's, that Corbin Burns is going to look. He wants to money that is close to what Snell is getting. So, is he going to get that $35 million?
Maybe.
I don't know.
The Giants have to replace Snell.
Well, there's been a lot of talk of the Giants and Corbin Burns. I don't know if they want to. I'm just not sure if the Giants want to spend that kind of money. They spent that money on Adames, but
if they want to compete in NL West, they're going to have to. So
yeah, because right now it's NL West belongs to the Dodgers at this point, as of right now.
Even the Padres, they haven't done anything yet.
The Padres, you think they're trying to offload one of their big contracts, like Tatis Jr., Machado, or Bogarts?
Yeah, probably. I'm out on these insane proposals on Twitter, like the Yankees should take Tatis and Bogarts. I'm like, what planet are we living on?
Yeah, no.
World would they do that? There's no way. No team is going to do that. Not even a baseball team in Abu Dhabi would do that. It's just not going to happen. I don't think I don't think they're going to move any of those big money guys. I could see them moving Arias. I can see them moving Cronenworth, second base.
I haven't even thought about Cronenworth for second base.
He's got about 5 years left on his deal, 5 or 6 years. So, would I prefer Lowe? Yes, but Cronenworth. open to, maybe, but I prefer low at this point. But I could see them moving Cronenworth. It's gonna be easier to move a guy that makes $15 million than a guy that makes 40. So, and like Tatis said, what does he have? 10 years left on his deal. Machado has like 10 years left on his deal. So those are gonna be really hard to move. Bogarts, I think, has 10 years left on his deal. That's gonna be really hard to move. Really hard to move.
Yeah, I mean, Cronenworth is not going to be a free agent until 2031.
Yeah.
I mean, he would still come on the cheap because he's going to get paid, 11 million for 2025, and then the remainder of his career, you're looking at, just a little over 12. So it's not terrible. You're just going to have him for a longer.
How old is he?
As of right now, he will be 31 to start the season.
Okay. So you get him through 31 through 36, age 31 through 37. All right.
Which, I mean, that's like a lot of the free agents right now. They're in their early 30s, and that's the thing with the free agents, because, you had brought up Tucker, and you asked, if you sign him to a 10-year contract, like that back end of the contract is gonna hurt. But the thing is, with all these players, man, not every player is going to be a free agent at the age of 26. Like that's a rarity. So a lot of these free players that become free agents, they're in their late 20s, early 30s. So, and they're going to look for long-term contracts. So, it's not like those 26-year-old players that become free agents. Like I said, it's a rarity, man.
It also gives me a greater understanding of why the Yankees are so invested in the international route. Because when they go the international route, like Dominguez and all these guys, they're getting these guys at like 16, and they don't become free agents until they're like 24, 25. Like Vlad Guerrero, international. Juan Soto, international.
Mm-hmm.
Be young when they're free agents, and I could see the logic of the Yankees going that route internationally. So, which is why I think they're going to be so heavily invested in Roki and so heavily invested in guys like Murakami, because Murakami's only going to be 25. So, Roki's 23. So, I think that's I'm a little leery on Kyle Tucker's back end of his contract. But if they get him, they get him. I think he might age as well. I hope he ages well. That's all I can say. But it's no guarantee.
Yeah, I mean, well, the same thing could be said about about Judge, right? I mean, they signed him to a 10-year contract. By the time his contract is over,
31,
he's going to be 40, right? So, the back, maybe the back end of his contract, he may not be the player that he is right now. There is that possibility. I'm not saying he's going to be, but there's always that possibility that he could be. So, it's a risk. That's the thing with these contracts. It's all a risk. Are you willing to take that risk? You're investing this money because you're hoping that this player that you're signing is going to end up being the player that he's going to be. But unfortunately, with all athletes, good or bad, I mean, they break down. It's just part of the game. That's just the way it goes. And we'll see what happens with guys like Judge, and we'll see what happens when next year comes around. Now, another thing, what's with one more thing? Like, what is the thing with Yankees wanting, or Yankees fans? Well, some Yankees fans wanting Carlos Correa. I'm not really sure. I mean, I'm not saying he's a bad player. I get he's got the playoff experience. He's a good player, but that contract, I'm not in love with his contract, and I'm not in love with his injuries. I mean, you look at the 2024 season, he only played 86 games. So
this is being peddled by one or two channels on YouTube and one or two people on Twitter. And it's generally the same people, right? And name calling, but Carlos Correa, again, he's got 4 years left at $31 million per, right? and then 4 vesting years after that, also at $31 million per. The chances of him be able to get his contract insured are slim. So I understand he's a clutch hitter, he's an elite glove, and so on and so forth. But like you said, to his point too, he hasn't been able to stay durable and healthy. So, and to me again, I'd rather go in another direction than Carlos Correa. I understand why people want him. Just like the same people that want him are the same people that want Bregman. Same people that want him are the same people that want Alonso, right? So it is what it is. It's almost like the flavor of the month players. I want the flavor of the month, right? And again, has he done anything to justify it? Not at this point. Like, what has Correa done recently? And that's the key. And he's got he's got 8 years left potentially 8 years left on his deal. So, and the vesting options are 575 plate appearances, then it goes down to 550, then 525, then 500. It drops 25 plate appearances for a year per season. But then there's also criteria like Silver Slugger and top 5 in MVP. If he hits these criteria, then the option vests. That's the way it is in the career option. So there is a chance you could get out of that, but there's no guarantee if he's playing well. I mean, I don't know, but I just don't see him being a fit for the Yankees. That's just me though. I don't see Bregman being a fit.
Well, think about it. When he was a free agent, how many times did we hear, he signed a deal with this team, but he ended up failing the physical?
Yeah, twice. He failed 2 physicals.
Yeah. That's a concern. That is an ultimate red flag.
Yeah.
And I understand players get hurt; it's inevitable. But when you reach an agreement with a team and the team and you fail 2 physicals with the team that you agree to terms with, it's a little bit. That's a big red flag for me. And what up, Jacob Petruzzi? How's it going? And Acevedo, I see you.
So, gang, keep in mind, folks, too, when it comes to insuring contracts, like the Yankees had insurance on Jacoby Ellsbury's contract, right? Insurance will pay for the contract, not the Yankees, but it stays attached to their payroll hit. So they could still pay the penalties over the Cohen threshold, even though insurance could be paying for Correa's contract. So it limits their ability to add to the team. Even if insurance is paying, it's still attached. It still goes towards your payroll. So that's one thing that's not necessarily discussed with a lot of people, but it's true. And that's unfortunate. Like the Yankees didn't pay a dime for Ellsbury's last three seasons, but it was still on their payroll.
Mm-hmm.
So
facts, and Texas Buckeye. Yeah, Yankees fans love to spend Yankees money, but if you left it up to the fans, the Yankees would be bankrupt.
Yeah.
So
amen.
Yeah. So that there's a reason why there are people running that team, and we're not running that team. So. That's why I'm not here. I'm not here saying sign this guy, sign that guy, sign him too, give him some money. All right, spend millions. It's all good. Yeah. It is a business after all. I mean, they have to work within their budgets, and because I know a lot of people say that the Yankees have money they can spend, but they're working under different times now. This isn't like the George Steinbrenner days. Yeah, if they go over a certain threshold, they get penalized. And then
if I could just as an econ, I have a degree in economics, and like one of the things you learn in Econ 100 is revenues is not equal profits.
Correct.
Econ 100, the most basic level. And you have your revenues up here, and then you have your expenses, you pay on all this stuff, and then down here is your profits. And let's just say the Yankees made $670 million this year in revenues or something like that. That was the number that people keep saying. Take 310 off that right off the bat for payroll. Now they're down to 300, right? Then take 140 off for revenue sharing. Now they're down to 160. See how 500 million just disappeared? Just like that.
With a blink, not even a blink of an eye, man.
Mention 2 things.
Yeah.
And we haven't mentioned self-financing their own stadium. We haven't mentioned all these other things either. So the number gets relatively short, and they have a lot of partners and owners that they have to get paid. So it's not the number that people think it is. And it really really frustrates me when people peddle that on Twitter because it's not true at all.
Yeah, and well, they have to pay. Okay, so payroll, right, for the players, and then they
have to pay their employees.
They have to pay their employees. They got to do the upkeep with the stadium. I mean, God only knows what that electric bill is, what that energy bill is for that stadium. Do I want to know? No, I don't. But and then the upkeep of the stadium, you got to pay the employees, like you said. They got to pay. They have to pay their own people as well. So
got revenue, which is mandatory. The Yankees pay more in revenue sharing than any other baseball team.
Yeah. And George, or not George, but Hal, he doesn't like paying it. He doesn't. I mean, and I don't blame him for not wanting to pay.
Pocket the money. They don't even use it towards players. It's there should be, in all honesty, in the next CBA, there should be a penalty for not exceeding some salary floor. Some salary floor should be established, and the teams that don't exceed it should be the one penalized. The teams that spend money on their players, like the Yankees and the Dodgers and the Mets, these guys shouldn't be penalized for investing in their product, but they are. Unfortunately, the teams that pocket the money down below don't get penalized at all, and that's a shame.
Yeah, and I think it's unfair. I mean, it's funny too because people talk about that there needs to be a salary cap. It's like, no, not a salary cap. And a salary cap will never happen in Major League Baseball. It'll never happen. If that happens, forget it. Major League Baseball will probably cease to exist. So a salary floor, that can happen. I mean, I think these smaller teams need to start spending money and start investing in their teams, and especially if they're trying to put butts in seats, if they want more fan attraction. I mean, what better way? You spend money, you get fans to the stadium. It also improves things in that within the baseball community. So
one of the things I noticed when watching baseball games, you can say like, well, that team has really, really beautiful luxury suites. How do I know? Nobody's sitting in them. That's why I could see the suites. Right?
Mm-hmm.
In these suites. Look at those beautiful leather chairs. I'd rather see them packed with people. Right? And they're pocketing all these money. You have luxury this, luxury that, which is crazy. It makes it really difficult to provide more balance in the sport. So, and this is why, I'm glad there's an international thing. Like, two things that I think should change are the penalties that attached to a qualifying offer, and I think the salary floor should be implemented. I hope the CBA starts to consider these seriously. It would make the game better.
Yeah, but that's still. I feel like that's like down the line if those things happen, if it does go down. But ultimately at the end of the day, I still say as of right now, when it comes to the Yankees, right? We'll close it out with this, and if you got some final words, by all means. I think they're gonna, as far as a bat goes, I think they're gonna get one more bat.
Yeah.
Second base is starting to seem more and more likely. I think because I know their market is very limited.
More options. Second base. I think there's more options.
Yeah, but third. I don't know. I feel like second base and third base are kind of. I mean, the Yankees are kind of limited, so they have to play it smart.
Yeah, you and I had talked about this. The only third baseman I'd seriously consider is Ryan McMahon.
Mm-hmm.
Not available, or Brendan not available either.
I want Donovan. Look, I know you've been talking about him for like a couple of years now. I want Donovan too, but. If I'm being honest, I don't see the Yankees. I don't see the Cardinals giving him up. I really don't.
Yeah, there's a reason why the Cardinals want to trade Arenado, because they want to replace him with Donovan.
Yeah,
they want the guy there, so I get it. I mean, I wouldn't want to move on from him either. He's that good, so valuable. He's perfect. He would be a perfect fit for the Yankees, but I understand like they want to move on from Arenado. I totally get it.
Mm-hmm.
So Yankees get Arenado, and then they get Arenado. He'll be in elite glove for a little bit longer, and hopefully they'll pay less at some point for the declining bat. But we'll see. Maybe he'll be a little bit better with Paul Goldschmidt there, as far as we know. I don't know. Maybe a change of scenery will do him some good too.
Well, like I said, this is I think the Yankees right now, they're going to play the waiting game at this time.
Makes sense.
I understand if Jack Curry said that the Yankees are not in on Arenado. it could just mean that they're probably not on him right now until the Cardinals make a better offer, because
to your point too, Brian Cashman does not leak information to Jack Curry. Okay, he doesn't go to Jack Curry and tell him we're doing this, we're not doing this. He doesn't do that, Brian Cashman. So, I mean, Curry gets the information he's given to him. It's not by Brian Cashman. So it's just something I hope people consider. Keep in mind, Cashman will always know more than Jack Curry.
Oh yeah. Nah, and of course he will. Of course,
and that's not a knock at Jack Curry. Jack Curry's one of the more reputable beat writers in yesterday. I get it, but Cashman will always know more than him.
Oh yeah, no, Cashman's not gonna. He'll tell Curry whatever he needs to tell Curry. He'll tell everybody else whatever he needs to say. But they're not going. He's not going to reveal every. Yeah, he doesn't. What was that? Oh yeah, he doesn't leak. Yeah, no, he doesn't. He definitely doesn't leak. So, so yeah, you just never know. But look, I know Arenado doesn't have the Yankees on his trade list. Well, I understand he has that trade list that came out, but he's limiting himself, if anything, and he's got the no trade clause. So I mean, he's kind of shooting himself in the foot when you think about it.
He already blocked the trade to the Astros.
Yeah, he blocked the trade to the Astros, but I don't think the Astros were even on his list. That was just it. But still, you're still limiting yourself to the market, and they're gonna have a hard time trading him then, and he's gonna have a hard time getting out of the Cardinals. So if the Yankees and the Cardinals, let's just say, for the sake of argument, I mean, if they were to make a deal for Arenado, if they were to reach an agreement, is Arenado going to say no?
Yeah, I doubt he would.
I mean, they're trying to get out of his contract. Arenado is trying to play for a contender, right? As a player, you don't want to limit your market. You want to be open to all teams, but there's going to be certain teams that you want to play for, but you never want to come out with a list of teams, because then other teams are not going to try and pursue.
I don't know if this will comfort any fans, but I saw some footage of Nolan Arenado in the cage recently, batting, and his bat speed was the same as Aaron Judge's.
Really?
The calculation. So take it at what you will, but his bat speed is still there.
Yeah. I mean, dang, that's
you add live pitching to it's a different story, but that his bat speed is still, his torque and his velocity swinging the bat, it was calculated, and it's just identical to Judge. So that could be comforting to some people.
That's pretty impressive, I think. I'd say that's pretty impressive. But but folks, we'll see what happens. All right. Again, I don't think the Yankees are done making moves. We'll see what's next. I mean, again, they need another bat. They need to get a bullpen arm, a lefty arm. Earlier it was said that they are interested in Andrew Chafin and also Tim Hill. Right? They've been interested in Tim Hill, but Andrew Chafin's another name that has been mentioned. That was reported by John Heyman.
He also strikes out more than a batter per inning, which is good.
Chafin, right? You talking about Chafin? Yeah. Without a doubt. But, I think right now, this rest of the week, I feel like it's going to be quiet. It's going to be pretty quiet, at least for the Yankees. I'd say next week too, because you got New Year's next week, so it's going to be pretty quiet for the New York Yankees here I think for the next couple of weeks. And I think once that second, third week of January comes around, I think you'll probably start hearing some rumblings, and you'll probably hear like one or two moves that the Yankees make. But
that not going to happen. Like, I didn't expect them to trade Trevino for that reliever. I didn't expect them to sign that outfielder yesterday, but they did. They did,
yeah. So I guess you never know.
Yeah, Cashman strikes when we're sleeping. So that's why we always say to keep your notifications turned on if you're subscribed to our channels. That way you don't miss stuff, because when news comes out, we're going to put it out for you. We will. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, folks, yeah, thank you again for joining. Jason, thanks for jumping on, man. I appreciate you hopping on with me.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely, dude.
Happy holidays to all of you, by the way. Happy New Year's to all of you too.
Yeah, happy holidays. If I'm sure I'll go live again at some point before New Year's, but if I don't, hopefully you all have a good New Year's. Hopefully you all enjoyed your holidays, and hopefully it was a good one and well spent with your families and loved ones. So yeah, appreciate everybody tuning in as always. So folks, make sure you all hit that like button, hit that subscribe. Share this channel out with everyone you know. Make sure you guys subscribe to 161 River Ave with Jason. He's currently at 22,000 subs. So this channel is on its way. It's the big goal for this channel right now is 2,000 subs. So slowly but surely.
Let's get them there.
Yeah, slowly but surely, man. Just a little patience. So again, thank you all for coming on.
Thanks, everybody.
Yep. Thank you all for coming on. Greatly appreciate it. Have a good night, and we will see you all next time. We're out.